Here we are again. Oh my God, we're still alive. Wow. It is October 7th, 2024. Sorry to say this right off the bat, but we are truly living in a very crazy, bizarre shit show. That's what life has become. It is remarkable, but here we are. Yeah. Hope you're all doing okay. Hello, Joel and Sandra and Agnes and Patricia White, Barb in Ohio, Ezra, Christopher, hi, Crazy Pots, hello, everybody, and whom else is in the chat? Geofactor 3, Alicia DeMoss, Amelia, Tony, Justin Wynn, and Joel. Okay. So, yeah. Julio, hi. James B, hi. And Brian C, Marlo, Silent Walk, Kim Blanchard, Mama Rages, hey. You're sick as heck. Okay. Sorry to hear that. Hope you get feeling better soon. Tom Tamata, Denise, L, hi. Kelly, hi. I actually tan very quickly with this sun that I am not sitting out in. I did pick some raspberries today, but can't get away from it. Burns the hell out of your skin, but I don't burn. I tan. Hi, T Lamb. Oh, wow, man. We've got a lot of people who are really struggling. A whole lot of people. But let's get into it. Oh, I remembered for the first time. Didn't have to go back to let you see radar. What is going on, Florida? You've got some weird stuff happening. I guess this is supposed to be precipitation, right? Why is the air masses going in opposite directions in Florida? Oh, they can move the air masses around with electromagnetic frequencies. That's right. Weather modification by artificial satellite. Check it out. It's a patent. All right. Well, I've got a lot on Milton, but before I even begin, and no, there are no severe weather alerts, so let me make sure at this time. Oh, there are two. Are they marine? We have tornado warnings almost every day now. But where are these severe weather warnings? Yeah, marine, Florida. What a surprise, right? Okay. Hi, Tonette. WJ. Well, I just want to remind you that while we are discussing an awful lot about hurricanes, we still have an awful lot of madness taking place. Plane down in North Texas Lake, planes going down, still a happening thing. The small planes, wow. All right, let's see what else. Residents react as wildfires torch Williams County in North Dakota. And these wildfires are very, very fast. They're just coming so fast, right? Wyoming, the elk fire. I had to stop. Somebody said screen. Share your screw. Can you not see my screen? I will be pissed if this is not. Oh, man. Wow. I set it all up. And because I've had a problem with these sharing things, I can't believe it. Okay, I apologize. I did set it all up, and then it comes off. Wow. All right, well, I'm just going to show you radar very quickly. Look at the air masses going in opposite directions, okay? There has been a lot of electromagnetic frequency taking place in Florida, getting ready, I guess, for this fabulous hurricane. I don't know what goes on. I'm sorry. I just don't know what goes on. But you can watch on your own. North Dakota fire coming fast, which means you didn't even hear the audio, right? Okay. So fortunately, these folks in North Dakota did not have their houses burn up. Okay. There's a lot of fires going on. This is the elk fire in Wyoming.
Area as of early Saturday morning, residents have entered phase 2 of the Ready, Set, Go evacuation plan. What officials say they're most worried about is that high-speed wind reaching upwards of 65 miles an hour. And because of that high-speed wind, as of 1 a.m. Saturday morning, elk fire was 62,000 acres, but that's likely even bigger. Residents of Dayton are getting ready to evacuate, with winds pushing the fire close to town. This one, it just got big so quick. Brianna Miller says she used to live in Florida and would often encounter hurricanes, but this fire takes the cake for natural disasters she's encountered.
It's one thing to prep for a hurricane because you know it's coming, but this hands down has to be the most terrifying thing.
The reason the elk fire has been so destructive, according to Sheridan County officials, is because of the high winds and timber in the Bighorn Mountains, where most wildfires are burning grass, not trees.
So those can be very fast moving, but if they slow down, if the wind slows down, they'll slow down and we can get ahead of them and really
cut that off. Well, when it's in a different sort of fuel type, like very heavy timber, it's going to take a lot longer for that fuel to be consumed.
And what may be most unfortunate for residents is that this fire could burn for weeks.
So as long as it's held at bay and doesn't come closer into town, I would like to go home.
Which many Wyoming residents are hoping for, as multiple areas like South Highway 14, west of Beacon Road, and Eaton Ranch Road have all been evacuated, with Pro Country in Montana preparing for evacuation as well.
They're very dynamic, very fluid. We're constantly looking at that with the incident management team, the operations, and coming up with a plan that's our primary goal is to make sure that the public is safe and the firefighters are safe.
And this was also a plane going down in North Texas Lake. Just wanting you to understand that there's a lot going on, not just the hurricanes, but the fires, Bolivia.
Imagina, todo es puro pasto y eso va a que.
We do have some breaking news at this hour in Long Beach. An explosion destroys the back house of a home. Let's get straight to Rich Prickett. He's overhead in Sky 5 with the latest. Wow.
So houses are still exploding. Let me ask you, I'm going to keep my mic on for the next video. And I just want to ask if you get any reverb from it, if I keep my mic on, okay? Y'all hear me? Y'all gonna respond? Okay. Houses exploding, planes going down, fires continue. Protests continue, right? New York City protesting Israel's war on Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon. Everything is continuing, but I'll actually keep my mic on for this. There's a scam going on. Just want to alert you all to it. My mic is on. Let me know.
Okay, guys, I want to tell you about a major scam that's going around, and it's a new one, and it's pretty smart. What you're going to get is you're going to get a package either from Amazon, Target, wherever it's from, and it's going to even be addressed to you, and it's going to say when you open it up that you won something, and it's going to have a QR code. And as soon as you scan that QR code, it's going to store everything on your phone, banking, passwords, whatever. So if you get something that is saying you won something in the mail that you did not order, and it has a scanned barcode inside, the QR code that you scan, do not do it. It's a big scam that's happening. It's a very smart scam that's happening. Please pass this on to everyone, especially, as you know, our older folks that sometimes they just think, oh, wow, I won something. Remember when Publishers Clearinghouse used to be the rave whenever I was younger? Everybody's like, oh, my God, Publishers Clearinghouse. Well, these people are getting smarter and smarter, and they're stealing more and more. So, yep, pass it on, guys.
Winning something today is usually not what people experience. So I appreciate all of you responding. Perhaps I should just leave my mic on. That way I don't have to start talking when it's off and I don't realize it. Okay. So last night in the live, I showed a tweet that Marjorie Taylor Greene had retweeted, which was about weather modification. And now, oh my God, they're on it. Daily Beast. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now adding lasers to her Hurricane Helene conspiracy. Adding lasers? Greene is doing that? She retweeted CBS News with that Mishu Cuckoo, you know who I mean, talking about lasers. trillion-watt lasers. You point them into the cloud. Oh, you get rain. They were talking about weather being controlled. But really? Yahoo News, Daily Beast? This is how professional and good you are at your reporting? Following up on a baseless claim that they can control the weather with an assertion that such a scheme might involve lasers. She did it, or CBS News did it? It's a shit show. And here, I'm going to play it. No, I'm not. I'm just going to link to it. If you've not seen this, I have played this on several lives with a Charlie Chester, CNN technical director, who is talking about how now the public has fatigue with COVID, and we're going to switch to climate change and bring on a whole lot of climate change reporting. They wouldn't have to do this if climate change was actually true, legitimate, the truth. But they have to do it because it's a lie. So they have to brainwash everybody. Caught on tape revealing that the network had chosen to make climate change the next pandemic. He actually says this, claiming people were fatigued with COVID. He also admitted that CNN concentrated on helping to remove Trump from office and is now searching for an issue with longevity. Oh, it's climate change. Okay. Talk about programming. UC San Diego, University of California, San Diego, officially launches new climate change education requirement to force all students to take at least one course on climate change. Students may enroll in courses such as climate justice, the astronomy of climate change, gender and climate justice, indigenous approaches to climate change. Indoctrinate, brainwash, mandate. So, University of California, San Diego states that the Jane Turan's climate change education requirement is designed to empower our students with the knowledge and skills needed to confront the urgent global challenge of climate change. Students have an extensive list of courses to choose from: documenting climate change, past and present, politics of environmental change, climate justice, the astronomy of climate change, gender and climate justice, indigenous approaches to climate change, literature and the environment, critical writing, climate change, and environmentalism in arts and media. And this new requirement was inspired by UC San Diego's DEI requirement. Yeah, diversity, equity, inclusion requirement inspired now to mandate climate change courses. All brainwashing, indoctrination, based on a lie. Global warming, climate change, nonsense. Let's see. Yeah, this is my Never Lose Truth playlist. No, I'm not promoting myself, but I've been at this for many years. I've done a whole lot of research. I've posted everything I possibly could, and I'm not doing it again. 500 scientists write to the United Nations. No climate emergency, but let's focus on 16-year-old actress 5 years ago. Yeah, Greta. Let's focus on Greta. Perform at the United Nations. And Rosa Koire, who has been not with us for a couple of years, connect dots, global warming lie, deliberate weather disasters, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, climate change machine, massive manipulation of monstrous miscredence, quotes of scientists who dispute global warming. There are so many of them. In fact, this is an hour and 6 minute or 7 minute long video of all of these scientists who dispute this global warming climate change narrative. Despite evidence, climate change lie continues. And why did Trump keep Obama scientists? And 31,487, that number continued to climb, disputing the climate change global warming narrative. Compilation of scientists speak truth, global warming, it's fraud, data manipulation, not science. 48 minutes of scientists. Nobel laureate in physics, global warming is pseudoscience. Another global Nobel laureate. It's what? How do we get out of this lie? Nobel laureate smashes the global warming hoax. Howard, who was the former Prime Minister of Australia, I believe, Howard, attacks teaching of climate change. Yeah, it's upsetting. It's just upsetting that we can't seem to get through to very many people. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden, scalar technology being used to control weather, rainmaking to put out fires. Okay. Truth about global warming. Okay, so William Happer, How to Think About Climate Change. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know, it's dangerous for people to believe lies and not consider that maybe something else is going on. If they can't even consider something else might be going on, if you can't have adult conversation with them, then they're not smart. They're so programmed by external forces, mainstream media, government officials. They don't have an open mind, and they are absolutely 100% dangerous people because believing lies hurt people. It even hurts them. All right, so hurricanes and geoengineering. Dane Wigington of Geoengineering Watch talking about Hurricane Helene and how it was manipulated by man.
Thank you for your continued attention to what's occurring in our skies, Colonel McGregor. This is nothing short of all-out weather warfare at this point. We can speculate about the agendas and objectives being carried out, but the fact that these storms are absolutely being manipulated and steered is inarguable. The denial of this fact is absolutely ludicrous at this point. We know the U.S. military and others around the globe, but U.S. military has been engaged in these operations since 1947, Project Cirrus. How far have they come since that point? So the cyclones are being kept weakened over water with manipulation of atmospheric pressure zones. And once they're near enough to the land-based network of frequency transmitters, the NexRad network, they are steered. And that steering is incredibly inarguable if we look at the animation of the frequency transmissions and their interaction with the storm, in this case, Hurricane Helene. We recorded that, and that video, if we can roll that now, the interaction is absolutely inarguable.
Good.
Result of natural processes and climate patterns, or was it manipulated? The circular blue flashes seen in this video are frequency transmissions from the NexRad network of transmitter installations. All available science evidence makes clear that atmospheric frequency transmissions can and do have a repelling effect on air masses, especially if and when the air masses have been seeded with electrically conductive nanoparticles. The brighter the blue flash from a frequency transmission installation, the more pronounced and powerful the repelling effect on any air mass or storm in the vicinity will be. Where there are no blue flashes, there is no transmission, thus no repelling effect, thus no resistance for a migrating storm. Translation: a migrating storm will be hindered from moving toward frequency transmissions and will easily migrate in a direction with no transmissions. So again, I ask, was Hurricane Helene's path and behavior just an act of nature, or was it engineered? You decide.
The link is in the chat. Good video to circulate. More and more people are getting that, well, our weather, it ain't like it used to be, and it is weather warfare. They are using weather as a weapon. So, here another, this was, I think, just before Hurricane Helene. Look, so many of us who care and want people to begin to consider that weather is being controlled. You know, you go to the evidence, you show the evidence, you show the evidence, you show the evidence, right? Well, guess what? A hurricane hitting the Appalachian Mountains really begs questions. Just that alone. Yeah, just that alone. There's, you know, it's like a default, you go to the evidence, but there's so much happening now. Look at the sky. What's going on with our sky? What's going on with our sun that is burning our skin when we're like in the sun for 1 minute? It's all of the aluminum, as far as I'm concerned. It's the aluminum, the nanoparticulates, the aluminum nano that they have saturated our atmosphere with. Remember when we were, well, the baby boomers, I'm sure will remember. You took out, you know, the tinfoil. Remember, we used to go out and put the tinfoil out to reflect the sun on our faces to get a tan. You don't have to do that anymore because all of the tinfoil is in the atmosphere. The aluminum, making the sun incredibly hot. All right, let's watch this.
I'm not saying that the government created Hurricane Helene. What I am saying is that the government has been manipulating the weather since 1947. What first caught my attention with Helene was the shift in the storm's projected path. One day it looked like it would hit my town. The next day it had shifted east. I then noticed an odd flight path of NOAA 42, the aircraft being flown, a Lockheed Martin Orion P-3. This prompted me to look at previous uses for the P3, where I discovered that they were used in the 1960s to manipulate Hurricane Camille in a, quote, weather war on Cuba. Now, I know this sounds out there, but as we begin to see more and more the terrible things our government has done in the past, is it really so far-fetched? Here are the projections from the 23rd of September. A large spread traveling the Alabama-Georgia line and ending up in Illinois. On the 24th, projections shift slightly east, and the storm is projected to finish in Indiana. On the morning of the 25th, the path shifts back west and shows to be finishing in western Kentucky. That evening, a P3 conducts a 6-hour operation inside the developing storm. The next morning, on the 26th, the path shows to have shifted slightly east again, now finishing in northwestern Tennessee. The evening of the 26th, the same P3 conducts operations throughout Hurricane Helene as it makes landfall, and the storm's actual path shifts further east, finishing in northeastern Tennessee. What would the government's motivations possibly be to modify a storm? That I don't know. But I do believe that if we can maintain our republic long enough, time will eventually tell.
The link is in the chat. So, Milton, Hurricane Milton, supercharged. Oh boy, it became a Category 5 really fast. Potentially rivaling pre-Civil War hurricane? Do we even know for a fact that there was a pre-Civil War hurricane? No, we don't. Because they could be just saying that to let people know, oh, well, there was a hurricane just like this before, so it's natural. You don't know. You do the research, you come up with, something that you think is a fact, and you have no idea now. Because they change a whole lot of history. And don't we know that? We do. In fact, I did get a comment below this video that I posted today. An effing hurricane in Appalachian Mountains, disaster that may top all in search rescue difficulty. And someone wrote, she needs to be corrected. A hurricane, this is what she said, a hurricane has never hit this area before. Is not true. In 1916, there were 2 back-to-back hurricanes that hit that area and devastated Asheville as well. Well, now we don't really know if that is true. We don't know. But, of course, you're going to get someone writing comments like this. It's called climate change. What you all still want to deny. Go back to your lunatic cult where you won't believe the truth that's slapping you in the face. This channel doesn't have any content. People don't know that there are armies out there, social media armies, to counter the truth. They get paid to write comments just like that. And Alexa apparently has already been programmed to speak about Milton.
Alexa, what kind of hurricane was Hurricane Milton?
From fandom.com. Hurricane Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path in October 2024.
Wow, Alexa is so smart. She even knows what happened with Milton before it got to Florida. Yeah, Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path in October 2024. Whoa! Programmed. By whom? Milton undergoing explosive growth to a Category 4, but it became a Category 5 today. Let's just see what they're saying about this.
And welcome back to Weather Command. A dangerous situation is evolving in the Gulf of And welcome back to Weather Command. A dangerous situation is evolving in the Gulf of Mexico. As we just talked about moments ago, Milton now a Category 4 hurricane. And we saw the winds jump up 90 miles per hour so far within 24 hours. Massive, rapid intensification. When you take a look at it right now, it continues to track to the east-southeast at 8 miles per hour, closer to the Yucatan Peninsula, where they need to watch this closely all the way to Mexico. But there is an area of high pressure over in Cuba that will help to redirect this back to Florida. Look at the pressure down to 940 millibars. This storm is intensifying. Hurricane hunters have been going in there and taking a look at it. And when you look at that wall, or the eye wall, well-defined, and then just to the south, there you've got a whole lot in the way of storm tops bubbling up, just really, really tightly wound. This is a very tight system. It's really letting this storm intensify as well. Florida facing what could be one of the most impactful storms in the state's modern history. Here's a look at the cone, and we'll wait for an update to the cone as well. Right now.
And apparently it intensified so rapidly that there are meteorologists that I guess are so overwhelmed by the rapid intensification that he got emotional and started, seemed like he was going to cry.
Incredible hurricane. It has dropped It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific. Maximum sustained winds are 160 miles per hour, and it is just gaining strength in the Gulf of Mexico, where you can imagine the winds. I mean, the seas are just so incredibly hot. Record hot, as you might imagine. You know what's driving that. I don't need to tell you. Global warming, climate change, leading to this and becoming an increasing threat for the Yucatan. Incredible hurricane.
He's so upset about this that he's literally near tears. What do you say to that? Maybe retire? I just want you to see a capture that I took earlier. It is remarkable how big these hurricanes are now, right? They're just massive. And it had a sister there that, well, it came together. The whole thing came together, but it literally is it's taken over the Gulf of Mexico. It's huge. And by the way, hurricanes don't form here, but hey, that's what man can do. Look at the size of this. I showed you the size of Hurricane Helene. We've never seen massive cloud with these hurricanes, but now we see it all the time. And you know what is interesting also? I literally, it just left my brain what I was about to say. But look at what is taking place right here. There is something, as you can see, it's like radiating the frequencies. You see it? All of the lines in here. They're intensifying the hurricane. But I can't believe I just forgot what I was going to say. I'm sure it was brilliant. You can see it also over here. All right, so it has already been raining in Florida. Same thing happened in North Carolina. It rained a lot. So already the ground was saturated, and then they bring on the top guns and just unleash it all. Look how level it is. Okay. Maybe he was crying because he was feeling like, oh God, I have to lie again. Yeah, you got to lie again. Look at the massive cloud that, yes, is manufactured. Oh. All right. You can't see radar. There is no radar down here to pick up the hurricane. This is on College of DuPage. You can see all of the glittering specks of nanotechnology. Look at this. Look at the air masses going in different directions. That's an easy one. I have countless times showing you the patent on weather modification by artificial satellite. And it shows in detail, it actually educates you on the frequency use to create weather, to modify weather, manipulate it, intensify it, to move around the air masses, in opposite directions, which is exactly what is taking place right here in Florida. You can see it on radar as well, down here. Okay, you see it going east and you see it going west. You see the frequencies right here. Right here, the extremely low frequency. Here I'm showing you the air masses going in two different directions, but there are frequencies that are very visible, like right here and here. And there are more frequencies And the electromagnetic frequency, think of it as a force. It's an invisible force against something, okay? So if you're going to be using electromagnetic frequencies against a weather front, you're going to change, you're going to alter that weather front. So this is an extremely low frequency right here. There's a frequency going through right here. There's another frequency. Now, this is not Milton. This is what's going on. This was going on today. Look how defined. This is not Mother Nature. Mother Nature does not have a ruler and creates these defined lines or right-angled cuts that we see all the time now. You can see the frequencies if you look closely. You can see going right through the precipitation. Here's another frequency. So the frequency hits. All you have to do is just look closely at radar. Right here. I showed you the pulsating frequencies, and that was yesterday, right? Yes. Let's see if this is it. Look at this. Look at these pulsating on the east and the west coast of Florida. Doesn't that beg questions? What is going on? Well, they sure are creating a lot of chaos in the atmosphere. And you Floridians are going, you'll have to tell me how much rain you got, because sometimes you can see it and it looks like rain, like up here. This is next-rad Doppler radar, but it's not. It's not precipitation. So, and there were, well, let me just go on with the videos that I wanted to show you. So yeah, cry your heart out, you lying sack of shit. Oh, wow. Yeah, evacuations began this morning. Gas stations running out of gas. Plywood is gone. All the way into Atlanta, Georgia. Now, driving through Atlanta at any time, but certainly, at the time of everybody getting out of work, it's hell. It's hell. A lot of traffic. The evacuations, people driving through I-75, I think, into Atlanta, back to back, stop still for miles. This is still in Florida. This is I-4 leaving Tampa.
Evacuations have begun. Gas stations running out of gas. Plywood is gone. Prepare while you can. This is traffic on I-4 leaving Tampa.
So look at the other side.
Gas stations running out of gas. Plywood is gone. Prepare while you can. This is traffic on I-4 leaving Tampa.
They're waiting for you to drop the ball. They're waiting for you to come up short. They're waiting for them to be able to say, we were right. He doesn't have him in him. He doesn't have the dog in him. This is up to you. This one shot, this one opportunity. You're going to be tested, big dog. But if the world doesn't believe in you, just know I fucking do. And you're going to go out there and absolutely kill it. Every goal you had, you're smashing. This is our year. Let's go out and get it. It's time to level up. Let's go.
See, I'm so used to playing with the mic. Unusual path, absolutely. They usually come in from the Atlantic. Remember? Oh, I sure do remember. Off the coast of Africa, coming across the Atlantic. Oh, hurricane. Okay. In recent years, they've been developing off the coast of Mexico in the Pacific. So, unusual path coming across the Gulf. None of it makes sense. Just believe all of the horse shit that you hear from mainstream media. God, it's just infuriating. And listen to this. So DeSantis has been giving a lot of press conferences on this hurricane. Can't tell me DeSantis doesn't know about weather modification. Of course he knows. Now, where's Joe? Has she become president already? Where is Joe? Well, apparently she's just taken over. Vice presidents they don't generally coordinate with governors on these hurricanes. So she calls DeSantis, and apparently DeSantis didn't call her back. Who would call her back? I wouldn't call her back. But now, of course, you see how her success at the border, right? And Hurricane Helene. So why would you pick up the phone to speak to her with another hurricane coming? Because really, she failed at everything that she was supposed to do.
President, Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
Moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
President, Governor DeSantis.
Put the people first. Utterly irresponsible, playing political games. Can Americans not see how deranged this woman is? This thing. Can they not see this? Put the people first. Like she did with those who suffer now the consequences of Helene. Really? You put them first? How about that $157 million you sent over for the Lebanese, for their aid, their water, shelter, security? Okay, are Americans really this pathetically dumb? Or this pathetically programmed to just keep supporting this? But don't think that I'm for Trump. No. Because the right and the left, go at it, guys. Why don't you just go at it already? Bring upon the Civil War. And this time it won't be black and white. This time it will be left and right. Because that's what they're programming you to do now. Kamala Harris records sex podcast while Americans suffer because she cares about the people. Put the people first. This is frightening, okay? Because what this shows is how low we have become. We're low, seriously low, walking a really low road. Because this is a reflection of how low the American people, how low they went. All of this reflects the American people. You can't get away from that. These are sick, deranged people, and they have shown you that over and over and over again. While Americans are literally and figuratively drowning, thanks to the incompetence of government, Harris spent her weekend appearing on a sex podcast. Call her daddy? I never, what the hell is it? I don't know. It features vacuous celebrities talking about what they like to do in the sack. Wow. 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 The sickness is in our face. It has been in our face for a really very long time. Very long time. And I don't call her daddy.
Outrageous, I mean, daddy gang, to put it in our TikTok terms. I have seen girls on the street walk up to men and be like, do you know where a tampon goes? Do you know how many tampons we use? Do you even know how, like, do you know what a X or Y or Z is of a part of our, and they don't know the answer.
I was the first vice president or president to ever in office go to a reproductive health care clinic, ever.
This is what she's doing when we have another hurricane coming into Florida, and when there are still people missing in North Carolina, and this is what she's doing, okay? Everything is orchestrated. So it's orchestrated to be yet another massive, huge, hurtful, real sting slap in the face in a sick, kind of perverted way.
I'm curious, like, you don't do too many long form interviews. What made you want to do Call Her Daddy today?
Well, I think you and your listeners have really got this thing right, which is one of the best ways to communicate with people is to be real, you know, and to talk about the things that people really care about. I mean, what I love about what you do is that your voice and your show is really about your listeners. And I think especially now, this is a moment in the country and in life where people really want to know they're seen and heard, and that they're part of a community, that they're not out there alone. And so I'm really glad to be with you.
Okay. Okay. How do you even respond to this? What do you say to this? A sex podcast. Okay. While so many Americans, we know about Hurricane Helene, People are driving out of Florida. The economy, the inflation, more Americans are hurting than not. Call her daddy. Okay. Okay. Into thin air. Link is in the chat. Circulate. Circulate, circulate.
All right, everyone, welcome back. October 7th, 2024, and we are tracking Major Hurricane Milton. This thing has broken records overnight, and by the timing of this video, this thing is a Category 5 hurricane. Now, you're not going to believe what I'm already seeing taking place near the state of Florida, just like we saw with Helene, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. Let's go over some of the stats that we're seeing right now. So as we speak right now, we are 2 miles away from this being a Category 5 Hurricane Milton. And I got to say, my friends, I've been telling you this storm was going to be something we've never seen before. And that's exactly what's taken place. Rapid intensification within 24 hours from a Cat 1 to a Cat 5. That is likely the fastest a hurricane has ever rapidly intensified after forming in the Gulf and then continuing to stay in the Gulf. Look at this. Major hurricane all the way to landfall around 7 p.m. Wednesday. That may shift, give or take, but my friends, this is a horrible situation for the west coast of Florida and honestly the entire state of Florida. The geography of this state makes it very hard for anyone to be in a good spot when it comes to this. All right, and now, my friends, into the stuff you really want to know about. All right, let's take a look at Florida, and already it's looking like a disco party is going on. A lot of different radar activity going on. We got spikes here going all the way into the Gulf, heavy lines up in this area, and then, of course, we have the one we saw with Hurricane Helene right here going off again. Now, of course, remember, these are just theories that we're talking about here, entertainment purposes only, because no way is weather modification real, right, everybody? Anyway, take a look down here near southern Florida. We got some right angle clouds taking place, a weird situation here ahead of the hurricane. And I want you to think about this because ahead of Hurricane Helene, we had a very significant low pressure system up by North Carolina already sitting there that then interacted with actual Hurricane Helene, causing the record-breaking flooding. Now, just look at this one more time. Take a look at what's going on up here, the disco party, and then look at these clouds down here, making unnatural formations, right angles. We don't see right angles in nature. So a lot of the rain and moisture taking place in Florida is almost a precursor to the landfall of the hurricane. Again, the same situation took place with Hurricane Helene, days of rain in the Carolinas and Tennessee before that thing even made landfall. A little bit, you can get a much better idea of what I'm talking about. Look at that. We got one coming from all the way in North Carolina, streaking across South Carolina, Alabama, part of the Panhandle, through Mississippi, and into Louisiana. This is unreal. This is a very distinct radar beam here. And then look at the other ones fingering down like this. And if you continue to watch, you can see our little beams coming from Georgia right down into Florida, exactly where Hurricane Helene made landfall. So again, my friends, whatever's going on here, we're just speculating. Again, we see that right angle down there form before it starts to blend away. Look at that. It looks like a box. Very, very odd. Again, my friends, just a very, very odd situation. A lot of different anomalies taking place ahead of the hurricane heading into this exact area. It is very similar to what we saw with Helene, and I do not think it's the last we're going to see of these anomalies. Keep in mind, we are already at a Cat 5 hurricane, so hopefully a little bit of weakening as it approaches Florida. If that takes place, it'll be a total miracle. All right, my friends, please share this video far and wide. A shout out to my cousin Mark in Florida. My dude, be safe. I'll be in touch with you in a little bit. And
Okay, the link again is in the chat. So there are a few people who are noting that it could weaken, and let's hope that that is the case, right? Now, all right, I was sent this by a subscriber, and I'm glad that we're seeing more talk about weather modification on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram or TikTok, but that's also going on. And here are only some patents of weather modification, only some. Okay, so I'm just going to post the link and you can check it out. Because there's a lot more. So, before I get into what's happening with Helene, let me just post some links. All right, I'm going to play this, and yeah, he includes a video, electromagnetic frequencies, what it can do to water. How many times have I posted this? It just gets to a point where you're recognizing that you just can't get through to people, so that's why, for the last couple of years, I've just been focusing on developing ourselves to be the best version of ourselves so that we can help those in our community, right? But let's just watch.
Island near the coast of Florida. Not only is there sonoluminescence happening, but check this out. There are literally waves in the patterns of squares. This is a person right there, and I've never seen anything like this. It is quite bizarre, and I don't think I agree with what the mainstream is saying, because the mainstream simply says that square waves, also known as cross seas, are caused by the meeting of two sets of ocean waves from different weather systems. Well, maybe I would believe that if there weren't also crazy square patterns in the clouds in that same area, and also the sonoluminescence going on at the same time. But when you take a closer look, you realize that simple sound frequency can change the patterns of water, even to patterns that seem to have 90-degree square angles. And certain frequencies just happen to look exactly like those clouds and waves. And when you see that certain frequencies can cause certain patterns, and certain frequencies look just like those water patterns at Anna Maria Island, and you also see that certain frequencies can generate light. So maybe what's going on at Anna Maria Island isn't what they're telling us. Maybe they're throwing some frequencies out into the atmosphere. Frequencies that are causing water to respond a certain way, frequencies that are causing clouds to respond a certain way, and maybe even frequencies to make people act in different ways, because frequencies can have psychological and emotional effects. So next time you hear about the sonoluminescence or square waves in your area, ask yourself, is what they're telling us really what's going on, or something else? And of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know that this is just caused by two wave patterns intersecting. Entertainment only.
Notice how many people are saying, well, this is just for entertainment value. And okay. Because you don't know if you're going to get canceled. Now, this was posted September 14, right before Helene hit Florida, made landfall in Florida. I don't know if these patterns in the water are from that date, just around the time that Helene was coming in. But you see all of the frequencies and the pulsating frequencies that I showed you, the extremely low frequencies and other types of frequencies that I don't even know what they are, hitting all of these weather fronts prior to a hurricane coming in. It's almost like, I don't know, they're doing something with the atmosphere right around the targeted area for the hurricane. And what he just said about these frequencies, they can make you behave in a certain way, make you feel a certain way, make you think a certain way. Extremely low frequencies are used for mind control. I didn't know Snowden spoke to HARP being a global assassination agenda. Well, let's just listen.
Everybody stop and look at this shit. Edward Snowden, the WikiLeaks guy. All right, Snowden reveals HARP global assassination agenda. All right, listen to some of this stuff. Pause it and read it for yourself. All right. Unbeknownst to victims or their loved ones, HARP projects ultra-high-powered radio waves. Those waves operate at the same electronic frequency as the brainstem, selectively inducing deaths seemingly by natural causes, including by some appearing to coroners as innocuous as strokes or heart attacks. Also, look up here. Remotely silence perpetrators of deviant or subversive strains of thought. It's mind control. And this guy is telling it all. Share this. All right, pause it, read it, share it, like, if you want to see more. All right, look.
And I will post the link. You can check it out. Now, again, yes, never lose truth. Directed energy weapons and those fires, global warming, climate change nonsense. How about weather modification and HARP? 317 videos under that playlist. Okay, here is heat waves already, and all you need to know that it's temperature modification induced by man. Many ways, black carbon dust, inexpensive material to just load up the atmosphere, and you can literally change the temperature of a region. Wow, with black carbon dust? Any of you seen black carbon dust in your sky? Well, this goes through a number of methods that they have to create artificial heat, atmospheric heat. I'll post the link. And weather modification by artificial satellites. You don't even have to read it. I did it. You can just listen. Weather modification by artificial satellite. The revolutionary use of radar, microwaves, extremely low frequencies for weather modification. Oh, link is in the chat. And how about this was, oh my God, Kafka Winston World. This was one of the very early videos that I posted. North American Weather Consultants, what did they do? Oh, they provide weather modification services. Wow. And you mean there are other commercial companies providing weather modification? How about Weather Modification Incorporated? They provide services to many of our states, you know, Idaho, Wyoming, New York. Not just 3, but a whole lot. And the first one that I showed you, which was weather modification, North American Weather Consultants. They've been around since 1950, providing Weather services for farmers, 1950. We have weather law because there were lawsuits about the weather being provided not going so well. But why would we do this if it's all a conspiracy theory? Why would he say something like this?
The people in the Congress are going to support it. And that message calls for new frontiers, new visions. It calls for us taking the steps now that will make us no longer second in space and in science. It lays the predicate and the foundation for a space communication satellite that will permit the people of the world to see one television program at the same time throughout the world. Think about that kind of communication and think about the opportunity that will provide. It lays the predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
We are at war. They are using weather as a weapon. And unfortunately, there is nothing that we can do to fight this war because we have an awful lot of Americans who refuse to even have a conversation about it. Instead, they turn around, laugh at you, call you names. Because we truly have become this infantilized adult population. Few Americans are actually mature. And I'll post this. Remember HARP report? The link is in the chat. He's talking about how, oh, right, that term chemtrail. Who developed that? CIA and the Navy, I believe.
Hello, this is the HARP report. Today I'm going to show you a 1960 CIA document that created the secret weather warfare program. I'm sure Dane's followers have seen this years ago, but it's news to me. And also this ties straight into the coal ash spraying program. So attached is a paper prepared by the research division of the Travelers Insurance Company. So why would a private corporation be secretly recommending weather weapons to the CIA? Who's traveling?
All right, so you're going to have to watch it. And I remember getting attacked because I kept saying black carbon dust. It was coal ash. We don't have to quibble over. They have a whole lot of methods. They use a lot of ingredients. And black carbon dust, as far as I'm concerned, is the number one ingredient that we see being sprayed all over our skies. And I showed the documents in the videos that I have. So, and what is this? Okay, I don't have to. You'll either go to the playlist or not. But here, I'll throw the link in. So, a lot of damage is being done.
North Carolina, people are reporting nonstop offers to sell their property for cash. At the same time, there's only one way in and one way out, and nobody's allowed to move. On top of that, trucks carrying aid and supplies are getting their tires slashed so they can't even get through. I mean, it's getting real, really fast. But that sounds very familiar. I mean, look at what happened in Maui. Residents there were pressured to sell their land after the fires, and now Asheville is going through the same twisted playbook. Why? Because North Carolina isn't just sitting on regular land. No, it's sitting on gold, the richest supply of lithium in the world for batteries and the purest quartz for the 530 billion microchip industry. And all of that, it's right under the area being hit. Residents are being asked to sell their properties, aid is being blocked, and the whole situation reeks of something bigger than a natural disaster, just based on the evidence that we've seen. And just like in Maui, people are caught in the middle of a mess that feels far too deliberate.
We'll more than double the EV penetration in the U.S. from 2021 to 2023. Every EV needs a battery. They all need lithium. So there's been demand. What the IRA in particular is tremendous shortages of lithium chemicals that the battery and car companies need to produce all the electric cars they want to produce. These shortages are likely to last for years and years. I think well into the 2030s.
That's the CEO of Piedmont Lithium, which happens to be one of the biggest lithium mining companies in the world. And as you just saw, the man keeps preaching to every news outlet that we need more lithium to make more batteries. Now, back in 2022, he said that our hope is that we'll be in production in North Carolina in 2026, and we will be fully permitted and approved and funded sometime in 2024. And it's a wild claim considering the company was facing a lot of resistance from local residents who were not okay with this mining operation because Piedmont's plans call for 4 open pit mines 500 feet deep. That means demolishing houses, digging up farm fields and woods, and disrupting streams. Some neighbors have sold their land to the company, but others whose property borders the site aren't happy.
Piedmont Lithium says their mine will extract lithium to power everything from Tesla cars to smartphone batteries, but the project has become super controversial.
As Piedmont Lithium workers drive to their job site, their neighbors greet them with these signs telling them they're not welcome here. After months of protesting, tonight's meeting will be the first time Lisa Carpenter Baldwin's family gets to meet face-to-face with the people who will decide the fate of Piedmont Lithium's state mining permit.
Well, Brian, this is
Hustle, bitch. There you go. Link is in the chat. More good information and information that's really good to circulate. Now, a whole lot of people wouldn't even consider that people could be that evil to use weather as a weapon, destroy. Wow. A whole region, destroy all these people, kill thousands because it's, well, all of the missing. All right. Destroy their homes just because they want the property and there was too much resistance in the community. Yes, there is that amount of evil in an awful lot of people, and they can do it, no problem. And they can rest well at night because they have no conscience. Understand, these people are not like you and me. Though I don't know you, you don't know me. But I'm just going to, I don't know, take a stab and think those of you are, you have a conscience. Here.
In that lithium deposit is in the billions of dollars. This cannot be allowed. This cannot be allowed. And I
Wait.
Guys, about lithium for a minute and how it connects to what's going on in North Carolina. What a lot of people don't know is what the actual cost of lithium is right now. A lot of you guys out there, you know, I'm a potter. I make all my stuff from scratch. Lithium is actually a large component of this red glaze you see right here. Here is a 10-pound bag of lithium. This is how I buy all elements raw in their pound. 10 pounds. When I bought this bag of lithium, it was $9, 10-pound bag. Now, today, this 10-pound bag of lithium is $1,200. So when you hear, and I'm getting lots of reports that the federal government is attempting to seize Castle Rock, North Carolina, that land, and other flood devastated lands because of the lithium deposit that is underneath it. The amount of money we are talking about in that lithium deposit is in the billions of dollars. This cannot be allowed. This cannot be allowed.
Wow. Used to be $9, now $1,200? Holy crap. Inflation. Whole lot of inflation. Oh my God, the 82nd Airborne Division finally made it. They finally made it to North Carolina. No, wait, they're in North Carolina. Okay, I guess, well, their trucks are there. But we don't know.
Essentially, just letting everybody know there, and it's going to be
Are they finally going to do something?
Patching that back up so we can send out to the folks that can get us additional resources as required.
Wow. Boy, oh boy. Here they come. Bringing resources. Day 9. And it's very interesting that we have these waters, right? The fires move so fast. The waters move so fast. And here's somebody in North Carolina talking about how within minutes they were standing in 4 feet of water.
All right, welcome back, folks across the Southeast scrambling now to try and recover their homes, their pets, belongings, whatever remnants really they can in the wake of Hurricane Helene's complete devastation. Western North Carolina, one of the hardest hit areas. Thousands of lives upended there by catastrophic flooding. You're seeing pictures now of the home of Delmas Williams. Delmas lost just about everything from the look and sound of things. He's now trying to look forward in the hopes of eventually rebuilding. Delmas joins us now to talk about this devastating experience. I see, is that Diane? Welcome to both of you. Thank you so much for taking time with us. This must be incredibly difficult. Just want to hear about what you've been going through, what you have seen and heard and experienced the last, I don't know, is it 6 days now? It feels like forever.
It does feel like forever, but it happened so quickly. The water rose so quickly from both creeks that within minutes, our house was 4 foot in, there was 4 foot of water in our house.
Wow.
And my wife and my granddaughter had to be rescued from the back of the house. And I was trying to, there was a lady next to us by herself and she was standing at the back door. So I was trying to tell her there's help on the way. They wouldn't let me go over there because the water was so deep. But
is your granddaughter?
How does it rise in just minutes? 4 feet of water into somebody's house. Well, they have the technology to do that. Could the water be coming from under the ground? Yes, because there's a lot of water underneath No, we don't have a water shortage. Check out primary water. It's all underneath where we walk. I don't know. But something needs to be investigated. And it's interesting. Yes, when you lose everything, just living is a challenge.
I've covered, probably 20 named storms somewhere around in that area, and this is probably by far, in a lot of ways, the worst that I've experienced. Just in the scope of the damage and how difficult it is and remote some of these communities are. Communication has largely been cut off, especially during the first couple of days. Cell service is virtually non-existent, and the only way that I've been able to even send some of my pictures out and communicate with my colleagues is through satellite Starlink. This hurricane is different because it was mostly a flooding event, and the power of the water is incredible. It's different.
Oh my God. It's a habit. I was just saying, hurricanes are wind events, not water events, which he said he's covered a lot of these events. He said, what's different about this is it's a water event. Well, why? How did hurricanes become a water event? And tornado. They now produce tornadoes. Is it really all climate change? Really? Really? Electromagnetic frequencies can also produce this flow that is incredibly fast and dangerous. So, Greenville. Now, I'm not sure if this is Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, South Carolina. Here.
Anybody who's listening that may be thinking of looting something here, just know that the business owners are staying in their stores. They're very well armed. They're protecting their property. Us, as well as the coroner's office, will be glad to come deal with that, because you certainly won't need EMS, because people are protecting what is theirs right now. They're about 500 calls behind. So I don't advise anybody, obviously, doing that. But anybody who...
Good.
Anybody.
Good. You have a disaster. You're going to protect what is yours. You have the right to be armed to protect what is yours. And you should not be interfered with by law enforcement. Oh my God, my liberal Democrat friends, if they could see me now. I can't even get into the gaslighting that is going on about FEMA funding the migrants, and they claim no. Okay, I'm gonna save that for tomorrow, because I'm just wiped out. But let's just check out what is underneath the waters off the Florida coast. HARP or HARP-like antennas. Yes, they're underneath the waters. So when you see that pulsating that I showed you off the west coast, off the east coast of Florida, it doesn't have to be one of those mobile NexRads that's doing it. Could be antennas from underneath. So it does seem to be activated, as the whole state of Florida seems to be needing to prepare for what's to come. And here, let's just take a look. I'll put the link in. Where am I? Parts of Florida already have signs of flooding.
We live in Florida, and y'all know that there's this hurricane that's about to come down here. I want to show you what the water is already doing, and we're what, days away from this? Look at this. It's already up on the sidewalks. That water is usually way lower. There's a good indication by that bench. You see that? I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I would be lying to you if I said that in my heart and in my spirit, things just don't feel right. Walking into the grocery stores, being around people right now, you can just feel it, man. It just feels tense. You can tell right now that people are having a hard time being at peace and feeling comfort when Helene just ripped through Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, and people are still cleaning up and trying to gather themselves with what just happened. And I think what really gets you is the fear of the unknown and the
You do have to read, but I'll read it for you. So the person who's posting this video said, we had a meeting with all parties involved at this site and established it as a no-fly, no-drop zone hours before, and had sent crews to resupply helicopters at another area. This was not one of our helicopters. They flew in, hovered around for a bit, looking like they wanted to land, despite our signals telling them no. I would think that a helicopter pilot would see that if he comes down far enough, that would be the result. So it was intended. And they also say in here that they had 2 black SUVs running blue lights, rolled in, circled around, immediately left. They were not local law enforcement. Wow. There are a lot of people who just want to F up the good that people do.
The people that need it.
In other areas.
These motherfuckers up here.
Hey, buddy. I'm happy that you're coming in here. Saying
Thank you for stopping.
Let's go to Hot
It's
Springs.
wiped out.
I'm a man.
We can do this tonight.
You've seen them.
You've seen them turning people away, though.
Yeah. They've turned people away for the last 2 days. 2 days, they've turned trucks and trucks and trucks.
That's where Jackie had to come back full.
We just seen water come back down here where they just turned them around, told them no.
Yeah, we just seen 2 trailer loads of water. Take that left. Where y'all from?
Alabama.
Morristown,
Everybody else.
Tennessee, Morristown,
North
Tennessee.
Carolina, Pennsylvania. I work. Yeah, you come all over the country.
That's
right
right.
here. Give me a minute.
And that man had.
So when you have an awful lot of people who are saying the same thing, and they're in different areas saying the same thing, well, then you kind of think that they're telling the truth and government is not. The FEMA reps are not telling you the truth. FEMA helicopters blocking Greenville, South Carolina airport. Their helicopters just sitting there, people witnessing it.
What's happening? We're at the airport again. Well, we're at the airport today. Yesterday, they ran like 30-something planes, a bunch of trips up to Western North Carolina, Asheville, that whole area, wherever they can land and drop off supplies. And FEMA has flown in like 10 or more helicopters and blocked a runway here at Greenville downtown. Completely took over, or almost took over the operation, just because they're doing some good here. FEMA's going to come here and try to stop it. And they took over one of the hangars over here too. We'll show you as much as we can. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I'll post the link. You can check it out. Just ordinary people running operations, rescuing people, and FEMA just doesn't like it. And look at this guy, man. Woof. So a Marine wants to start a barbecue to help hurricane victims.
Well, you don't have that authority yet,
Why can't we rent this?
okay? You don't have the authority yet. It's that simple. That's further down the line. It said no.
When was that filed?
I didn't ask you. I'm not talking to you. You need to move away from me. You are a disgrace in my eyes.
Ditto, brother. You know what? As a Marine, you should have been better prepared.
As a Marine,
Jump in my shit and see what happens.
I am.
As a Marine, you should have been
I'm
better
right
prepared.
here in your shit.
As a Marine, you should have
Okay?
been better prepared. You don't come to me and tell me I'm a piece of shit for
You
pointing out
are.
the truth.
You
For
are
pointing out the
exactly-
truth.
I think a lot of people in the city feel the chief should be removed. I will not back down. I stand by what I said.
You think you lost your temper, or you think that's okay?
I was not happy. Yes. Do I say it's okay? Probably.
Bro, the way he was talking about calling that reporter, he could have talked like that to these people, and he got very mad with that Marine. Was like, as a Marine, you should have been better prepared.
You don't have that authority yet.
You don't have that authority yet. You don't have the authority to start a barbecue to help hurricane victims. You don't have the authority. Ugh. Wow. He has the authority as an adult human being. These people who put on their uniforms, the authority figures, we have to develop a whole new psyche when facing them. That's pretty disgusting behavior. Another donation center shut down by FEMA.
So to everybody that heard about all the supplies and planes that were coming from downtown Greenville Airport and flying up to North Carolina to deliver supplies, water, whatever anybody was donating and people were needing was being sent up there. Well, today it's awfully quiet, and we see these helicopters lined up, and they have a booth set up here and everything. Turns out that's FEMA. FEMA has shut down all the local donation operations that were going on and delivering supplies, and now they're saying that they're not allowed to deliver any more supplies anymore. So all these people are unfortunately have all these supplies but cannot take it up there. So
But what are we hearing from the FEMA reps? Oh, it's dangerous because they're lying. They're just lying. All these people talking about FEMA preventing rescues and donations or actually stealing all of the supplies and donations from people. It's all a lie. And it's dangerous because it makes FEMA employees uncomfortable. It's a lie. Are all of these people that I have, shown other people saying, something similar every night on a live stream? Many of them. They're all lying. Yeah.
So we just landed.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Liz Bruno.
Jeremy Locke, Daily Recovery. We got Global Empowerment Mission here.
It's a handshake. Oh my God.
All right.
my God.
Well, let's find out where they are. We're gonna get them out of here.
Yes.
And please, any information you get passed to us. We got these amazing guys with Special Forces Parachute Team to help fly us around. We're getting people out.
Oh, you guys are incredible.
Awesome.
You're incredible.
They're not military or FEMA. These are ordinary citizens. Some are former military, former special ops, going in, doing all of the work that you would think our military would be doing. But, geez, that 82nd Airborne. Oh, well, they're in North Carolina, and they just came today.
This is how legends are made.
This is kind of what we have to do now. The information we're getting is sometimes old, so when we arrive there, we've got very limited air assets. So what we're doing now is we're actually touching down. We're doing link ups with the locals, and then we get taken off and go help some people. We got some people here right now.
Okay, so you can click on the link and watch the full video of all of the work that they're doing. Don't you wish that, we lived a life where like only a few people were liars, right? Only a few people. Well, that's not what we live. And look at this. Yeah, Americans saving Americans.
Yeah, you're pretty much home free there. You can cruise across. Yeah, you're pretty much home free there. You can cruise across.
Very cool. All right, you guys. A whole lot of people helping people. It's really cool to see. That's a normal sky, don't you think? As a farmer who has always looked into the sky to see what the weather is doing, I've never seen skies like the ones I've been seeing in the last 2 years. Yeah. Chemtrails should be front and center. They're poisoning us, our food, water, and the environment, constantly with zero resistance. We need more people on board, but in the meantime, do what you can to help your community. Right, right. Let me see what this is. I don't know what that song is. It might be copyright strike material, but look at these things. Yeah. They've built bridges, they've returned some roads, meaning they got the trees all removed. These are just ordinary people. So I hope that if you are facing a disaster in your community, that you too get out there and help. It is copyright material. Oh, well. It's AC/DC. Well, YouTube, I didn't know. I'm old now. I don't know. And if I did know then, I forgot. Live honestly, speak honestly. That's the only way that you can manifest anything better. Yeah. Get out, help those in your community, because look, a whole lot of people, visible. The suffering is visible. You see it. There's a whole lot in your communities who are suffering silently because they're afraid of people's judgment. The inflation, the economy, the loss of jobs. Try to be of help and ease the stress and pain that an awful lot of people are carrying now. It's a whole different time in the good old US of A. So on that note, thank you so much for showing up, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. And stay as well as you possibly can. Be safe. Floridians, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with this again. Friggin' again. Look at NextRad. Oh, it's jumping. It's jumping on you. The whole area. Still can't see the hurricane, not with this radar. So be safe. Check on your neighbors, the elderly, those disabled. And on that note, I do say good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.